Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review.
That's right. Today we've got a jam-packed Battle of the Bots episode. It's been a while since we've done that.
It's been a while. We're going to battle some bots, and we are specifically going to battle hot rods.
That's right. The hot rods are going to have a sword fight.
Yep, that was extremely appropriate.
So in one corner we've got the Fans Toys Hoodlum, and in the other corner we've got the MP-40 Targetmaster Hot Rod. Not to be confused with the original MP, I believe, 28?
Fishing rod, hot rod.
Yeah,
that's right.
The first version of the hot rod. I think it's MP-28.
Yeah, and you'll notice that we have a couple of these other guys as well here, and it's just really for a really brief and quick comparison because so many of them come out, like, you know, over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, let's just get to it.
My name's Alex.
I'm Boris.
I'm Eric.
You're watching
The A3U Review.
We got Battle of the Bots for the hot rods. We got the Fans Toys, and this is the more recent release, right?
Yeah, the MP-40.
MP-40. Yes.
Yeah, it's basically exactly the same as the MP-28, just the coloring is different, and it comes with different things like the Targetmaster.
That's reversed.
Yeah, I should do this. Sorry. Yes, this is the Targetmaster for MP-40, and this is the Targetmaster for the Hoodlum.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just jump right into it.
That's right.
Design.
So yeah, right off the bat, I guess on aesthetic level, as you guys can see, the coloring and the paintwork is very different.
Very different.
Also, the heights are very different, and the Targetmasters are different.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's kind of dive into some of the differences. So first off, let's take a look at the height. I for one was really, I did like that Hot Rod was a little bit taller. I think when I was looking up some of the screenshots in for the G1 movie, I always felt like the Masterpiece Hot Rod was a little bit kind of too short.
Okay.
Did it seem that way?
I found him use a little bit more small.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like this guy's a little bit more bulkier. He's a little bit more full. He kind of looks like he's well fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he might not have as slim of a look as the MP-40, but I feel like it's still like, you know, it isn't that much bulkier, but it just gives it a little bit more heft. And then just as a talking point, Alex, this is the scale. I mean, we have the MP-10 behind it.
Yeah.
So you could kind of get an idea of, you know, what it looks like scale-wise.
Yeah.
I feel like Hot Rod kind of scales a little bit better just on the MP level with MP-10. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a good. It's a good height. If you're talking scale wise, I really appreciate the fact that, you know, it scales well. But if we're comparing the two, I like a little bit more I guess size value. So I like that this guy's bigger. It's kind of like big in every way. You get the bigger Targetmaster compared to the smaller Targetmaster, and I think he's actually proportioned better compared to this one if we're talking size. Because the one thing that I noticed, I felt that was that these legs are, I mean, his thighs are really quite small compared to the rest of his leg, and it balances quite well actually. So I felt that this one is proportioned better. It just looks like these small thighs kind of make the rest of him look quite bulky up here, especially with all this stuff in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that comparison right there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't remember. I guess it all depends on what you're looking for in a toy. If you were looking for tune accuracy, I don't really know if it's 100% accurate, but I agree with you. If I just looking at the balance of it, it feels like the legs are a little bit thin on this guy.
Yeah.
He missed leg day.
Yeah.
No leg day. This is what happens.
This is the missed leg day hot rod.
Yeah.
And he's got like because of the proportions of
Yeah.
how he is, his backpack. Even though if you really put these guys side by side, it's probably the same thickness as Hoodlum.
Yeah.
But his backpack just looks like it's
He's got a
kind of got a
jetpack.
little bit
Yeah, it looks like
more
a backpack.
weight.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, and so it doesn't look quite as nice. I did like the little gimmick that they do have where the little jets kind of come out.
Ooh, cool.
Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but these,
Yeah.
when the wheels come in, they actually pop this part out.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Which is, yeah, quite good. The fin on this is broken, so if anyone
Was
is
wondering.
or annoyed about that, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy another one because I don't want to buy it just for that fin. Just be really careful with your hot rod. Doesn't matter which one it is. You drop it on the fin, it is going to be broken and it will be all your fault. So
Yes.
don't do it.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess the next thing I would say is for those of you at home, you can't really hold it, but there's quite a bit more heft in terms of weight to the Hoodlum as well compared to the MP-40. MP-40 felt really kind of light, and considering the price point, like if I'm talking about value and whatnot, the having a little bit more weight, I feel like it lends to the design in terms of weight balance because the weight in the bottom of his legs here, it really helps him to kind of stand a little bit better. That was one of the big problems with the original Takara mold. I think they fixed it a lot in MP-40 at least. It's not as finicky, but because of its backpack, after you pose it a while, you will notice he will start falling backwards or forward. Whereas this doesn't seem to, right off the bat, suffer from those issues. See, there goes the 28 is just falling over here on the side. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the feel of it?
When I first took it out of the box, I thought, it's not too bad. I really like the legs. Really nice heft. After handling the Hoodlum versus the Takara Tomy one, I have to say, the heft makes it seem like I've put my money towards something, as opposed to, kind of like a deluxe sized masterpiece, right?
Yeah, agreed. And then I guess like aside from that, you got the rubber wheels as well, which is a nice touch. That was something that was never offered on the Hasbro version. The wheels also felt like in alt mode. We looked at this in alt mode, and it felt like the alt mode looked a lot nicer with the larger wheels.
Yeah, I mean, like look at that. He's got
very tiny.
Yeah.
tiny.
Like this looks more like proper sized wheels for a vehicle of that size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the vehicle modes, I also noticed that he's a little bit kind of left a little bit of a heftier vehicle itself in general, which I mean it's kind of subjective. If you like that, that's cool. But I did like that it had like kind of more of a tune feel to the car itself, whereas this one was very streamlined, much like the original toy when it was in the car mode. It was very much like a toy car.
Yeah.
I think a better word for it is that it has a lot of presence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when he's really flat, he's really thin, he's very sleek, but this guy's got a little bit more bulk. He looks like he actually, he's there. And the tires are massive difference. It really, really lends.
Yeah.
And even in robot mode, he looks like he's got a lot more presence than the hot rod over there.
Yeah, a much more updated look too in the alt mode compared to what was offered in the original toy, which we also have over here. So, I mean, I guess, just looking at this, that kind of takes me to the color and the paint job. That's somewhere where I think I really did end up liking the Hoodlum as well a little bit more. I wasn't crazy about this kind of very maroony magenta colors that the hot rod did have for the MP-40. It definitely, the color is very nice on the Hoodlum compared to that.
I think it's more vibrant than I would like it, but definitely I like it more than this. This just makes it look very, very kind of dull.
Yeah, and you know, if I bring in like the MP-28 to kind of compare, even the MP-28, it looks brighter.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have like this kind of darkened, you know, magenta shade put into it. But I still feel like this pops a little bit.
Yeah.
More than the original Hot Rod. Though I do say if I had a choice, I kind of wish that they didn't change the color so much.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess then people will be like, what am I? Why am I getting a new one, right? Like,
they gotta change it enough.
Do I just get the hot, like the Targetmaster, or what? Yeah, he's like doing the splits. Yeah, this unfortunately is something that really sucks about the longevity of this toy. It just can't stand literally over time.
I think a metallic red would look a lot better.
Ooh.
Yeah?
Okay.
If they made it like a well, they're doing that
metallic versions
of stuff, so maybe they'll do a metallic version of Hot Rod.
Yeah, I do like the metallic paints Fans Toys has been using recently, like on Cyclonus and whatnot. I know some people aren't a big fan, but I like the grade that they're using. It's a little bit of a finer grain metallic. It's not so glaring. Like you can see it here. There's definitely metallic, but they're using a finer grain paint, so actually it works well with it, I think. And then just like as comparison for colors, the original toy, I mean, this is the Walmart reissue, but it still was this color.
Orangey.
Yeah, and you notice like also have the original North American release of the MP-09 without the hot rod version, and he also comes with a Targetmaster, which just to note that it's basically the same Targetmaster you're getting with the MP-40 hot rod, which kind of makes the Targetmaster out of scale. I think it was really well scaled for this large of a figure, right? But this is more of a Rodimus size because he really is the same size as MP-10 pretty much.
Yeah.
A little bit taller, in fact. But yeah, you could see the original toy colors. The original MP-09 actually hit those original toy colors, and I think you were saying you kind of preferred the toy colors more.
I like the kind of like the blood red. It's just kind of nice and soothing, as opposed to like a little bit too shiny or too dull, right? So that's kind of what I like. It's almost like it's got a matte finish as well.
Yeah,
just from the red.
That's right.
Right. So
yeah, it is a little bit more harmonious, I think, with the orange, and I think it's because if you kind of look at all three versions of this, right, even the MP-28, you'll see that each one of them, even this Hoodlum, has kind of some sort of magenta injected into there, so it's like kind of gives it more of a cherry look rather than your like what you said, the blood red, like kind of more of a grounded red. So yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I actually liked the first version. I just hated the transformations. I hate how the backpack was really fiddly and it didn't really stay very easily. But otherwise, it was a pretty good attempt on the first one.
Yeah.
I think the coloring was really nice, and just certain things about it, like the Targetmaster when it first came out, was really nice. They had a lot more paint than the second version, which I feel like we kind of got ripped off on, but you gonna stand? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so let's move on. So the next thing, of course, everybody always asks us about is poseability.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the Targetmaster poseability, or are we talking
we could talk about both. I don't mind too much the, let's talk about the Targetmasters first. I mean, they're all on ball joints, and in terms of, for when this Targetmaster first came out, the Takara version or the Hasbro version Targetmaster, So yeah, I think this is the first time, you know, we kind of got like really full motion ball jointed Targetmaster from Hasbro. Because previously we had like the classics, like Cyclonus had a Targetmaster, which I thought was really great Targetmaster. It did not have this level of articulation. So for its time, it was great. And you know what? If you look at the Fans Toys Hoodlum, like for today's standards, it doesn't offer that much more. The ball joints are in this exact same spots almost.
Yeah.
Even the arms, like you have kind of a ball joint here that allows the arms to kind of move up, and then like a hinge, right? And then a hinge on the arms to kind of allow some movement, and of course the ball joint on the head. Sorry, this one is not quite a ball joint. It's just a swivel. But yeah, you'll notice that with the Fans Toys one, it doesn't improve on that much.
Actually, it's a lot harder to pose that guy, I found.
Yeah.
He doesn't stand very well unless you lock in his legs.
It's very stiff.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's because of the paint. It almost feels like it's the fact that they painted the full legs.
His backpack is actually causing him to have a little bit of stability issues.
Yeah, because they decided to point the thrusters downwards to give it more of a sleek, flush look at the top. Whereas, you know, the Hasbro one has the classic Targetmaster with the, you know, guns kind of almost like they're coming out of their back.
Yeah. So you gotta lock those legs so they invert the other way in order for him to stand straight. Yeah. Like he's like super military attention.
Yeah, you're right. There's a little bit more movement here in the ball joints on the Hasbro one. If I don't break it first. But you know, honestly, I mean, it's a Targetmaster. I'm not hating on it too much, but there have been better Targetmasters for sure. Like, you know, if you look at the adder mold.
Yeah, the KFC Targetmaster from which one? Scourge.
Cyclonus or is it Scourge?
It was Scourge and Cyclonus. They both have the ball jointed Targetmasters, but I think they held up a lot better than this Targetmaster. A little bit more flexibility and a little bit more posability.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, it's okay. I did kind of get annoyed at this whole fact that it doesn't clear the
hips.
Yeah, they just kind of...
They pop out for me.
Yeah, or they're gonna at some point scrape the paint there. Although it's held up pretty well, and I've forced this thing a lot. I don't really see too many marks on it, so maybe that's a testament to their paint work is pretty good. But whatever, the Targetmaster posability is okay, not like super great. No waist swivel, nope, nothing like that. It's a Targetmaster, whatever. Have some fun with it. Neat little gimmick anyways. Like, I've always liked Targetmasters and Headmasters, so...
Who doesn't like Targetmasters?
Exactly. So, on to the actual main figure, which is what we really care about in terms of posability. You'd have all the normal things that you would expect, like waist swivel, you know. Both of them have waist swivel. You have kind of like this... the ankles kind of have a swivel, so it's on a little swivel, not a ball joint. Both of them are very similar that way, although the Fans Toys one is tighter.
Super tight.
So when you kind of get into it, it's a little bit annoying. You have to kind of like fold the legs in and get some leverage on the feet if you really want to kind of get it to swivel for some people. I don't know if you got one that was not as tight, then great, but if you did get one that was tight like this, then you're gonna have to kind of swivel it. I did find, like you said, the clearance.
Yeah.
You know, you saw that.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah, I mean, it got me was the screaming plastic noise. I would, you know, every time I tried to tilt something around and move it around, it was very frightening to hear it. I was expecting to snap that foot off, right? So, but otherwise, I think I think he poses very well.
Yep. So yeah, all the things that you would expect as well. The thighs kind of swivel. They've got your knee. You know, you can bend at the knees. Whatever. That's kind of expected now. The arms kind of function the same as well. The hands kind of have this like slightly,
Crab hands.
you know, the crab hands. Yeah, slightly articulated because it's got like the ability to kind of move the hands in and out, but no real finger articulation, which I personally don't really like anyways. I find that sometimes that can be finicky depending on what it is. Unless you like posing the hands a lot, then I would say this figure is not for you. You can't, you know, flip the bird or anything with this guy. But where it starts to differ is, I think, when you start getting into the more subtle details. As we looked at it, what do you prefer? Do you care about having an ab crunch, even though this is sort of like a false ab crunch?
I love the fact that it's still an option. Like, I love that option, even though it is false. The option is still there because I love that both of them have pretty good posability. But when you really want to pose a figure, pose one of these masterpieces, you really want to put them in some pretty cool poses, right? So having that fake ab crunch there is great. But what I noticed is that this one, you can't move the head. Like tilt it up and down. And I like having that option to be able to tilt it head and down. So that's where I feel that this one kind of lacks just slightly.
Yeah, that's right. And to be fair, because it doesn't have the ab crunch, even if you had movement in the head, it would suffer a lot because you don't have an ab crunch to support it, right? Yeah. So it kind of would make it almost like, kind of useless, right? Whereas this, because of the ab crunch, you do need to be able to move the head kind of up and down, but it gives it that much more character.
Totally.
It is an unfortunate part about this that you can only kind of go side to side. And then, kind of be really stationary, because they did give it like a waist swivel. So, that would be like kind of my only knock on it, because it does make it difficult to do some of the poses that I like. I like to do some. I like to use the neck a lot, just for some really good, kind of character.
It brings more life to the character when you can pose it like that, instead of just only looking like going left and right. But like if you want to be able to like do like that, you can't do that, right? So
this is a lot more dynamic. Now when it bends like that, with the ab crunch for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. And then this lends to his fishing pose with the first the fishing rod and everything. I don't think I've ever seen anyone pose it in their collection like that. But, teach their own. There's really not much more to say about that. I do feel like that was kind of a miss, posability wise. But fun factor wise, they both are pretty fun. In terms of like, they have the same kind of gimmicks. They have the glasses. Do you want to do that one there? Glasses work the same, right, Eric?
Yeah, the same fold out, lift up the skull or the helmet, pull out the glasses, and he now can see.
I've always liked the goggles, hey?
I've always liked the goggles, but with his goggles, which are a blue tint, I think it looks nicer. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think if they made it bug eyes, it would have been a lot better. Kind of a bulgy idea. But there's only so much you want to do, right?
I feel like a kind of in general, his head sculpt, just proportion wise, and like it's nicer than
it's just
the Hasbro. Yeah.
If you're looking at human scale, like the what is it, so 1 to. If you've ever done any illustration and stuff like that, the head compares to the body like 6 or 7 times or whatever, right? Yeah. So that looks a little bit more in tune with the human body, as opposed to that where he's a little bit little mini head. Yeah. Right, but his head sculpt is for sure, and that lends to just the whole overall aesthetic. Looks a lot nicer than that hot rod.
Yeah, and overall they're both, they got both kind of a good fun factor to them.
Yeah.
They're both like in terms of creativity. If you kind of look at how Fans Toys has kind of taken what could have been mundane and just a copy of something and made a little bit better. They did get a little bit more creative with some certain aspects of it. Like when you get into the transformation, for example,
Yeah.
there are some very clever points when it comes to the actual figure.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you really kind of get into the fun factor of it, I didn't have as much fun transforming the Hoodlum, unfortunately. I don't know how you felt about.
It got really good. It was really good, fairly straightforward, until you got to tabbing everything together.
Yes.
Then that just became a nightmare and a half. You gotta, as you said, you have to peg everything properly. If you don't peg everything properly, then you're just gonna spend 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Roughly you spent about 20 minutes trying to peg everything together.
It was horrible. I mean, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
You don't like peg formers either.
No.
The problem with peg formers, and I kind of have seen this happen with other figures as well. MMC is sometimes a big culprit of it. I always bring that up. It's because you have to kind of tab in things, like everything kind of has to be exactly perfect.
Yeah.
When you're tabbing everything in and the position and the order in which you transform it, which if face value isn't that bad of a deal until you realize there's so many points of contact that have to be done that way. Then you realize that in order for you to get something together, you're almost at the end. It's almost like dangling that carrot in front of your face, You're almost there, but you just realize that you now have to back up like 5 steps because you didn't peg that first part in right. And you just kind of have to like really struggle with it and really make it line up. If you guys have a chance and you want to watch the full transformation, Pack for Life, our buddy, Henry has, I think, like a 12-hour transformation of this thing.
Yeah, and I watched the whole thing.
Yeah. So he goes into real detail with it. But you'll see what I mean. There's a part where in the legs, when you finally try to tap it together, he makes it look easy, but it actually, even he said it's frustrating for him. It's frustrating for us. So didn't get that with the Takara version. I felt like it was very intuitive.
Yeah, it was like a snap.
Yeah, and the parts that have to peg in, they make a lot of sense, and there's some room for error there, that it'll still kind of get together.
Yeah, this was like giving somebody an Indian sunburn. It works.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So, I mean, in that sense, the Takara version, I found it was a little bit more fun. But, I mean, doesn't take a lot away from the Fans Toys transformation. I just think that definitely, had it not had those issues near the end, it would have been very, very nice because it had some clever parts to it. The arms, the way that the arms worked, was really nice. It wasn't as lazy as the Hasbro one where you just flip out the hand. Yeah. I felt like, that allowed them to get a little bit more detail into the arms and how it works. Whereas this is just one chunk. And it allowed for like, the side to kind of like fold out a little bit nicer and all these kind of little gems that kind of help the car mode differentiate from the actual figure mode and give it a little bit more life. And that lends to the design, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess all in all, maybe we should just score this thing and see, which one wins out a little bit more.
Sure. We should start with design.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with the design.
Let's get right into it. Okay.
Okay. So design. Just to recap, I think we all kind of agreed. At least I felt like the overall aesthetic, the height, the details, face sculpt, everything. Feels like the Hoodlum kind of edged out the MP-40 in almost every aspect. Would you say?
I agree.
I also concur. It's vibrant. It's better proportions. The wheels. The overall look. The whole design aesthetic is just much better.
Yeah, and one thing I actually forgot to mention is the flat chest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh.
I really did think the original was just too flat.
Yeah.
And although there isn't as much difference as I originally thought there would be, it still allows this curve for the FT.
Yeah.
So that really kind of...
A little bit more dimension on this one.
Yeah, gives it a little bit more. So yeah, I'd say aesthetic-wise, definitely the Fans Toys. And then we get into...
Poseability?
Poseability, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Poseability sucks. Unfortunately, I do feel like the MP-40 kind of addressed those little subtle things that we all look for when it comes to aggressive posing. Not bad on FT, they didn't miss much, but that ab crunch, the ability for the head to move, not there. So if you're looking for that, other than the waist swivel, you're not going to get much differentiation in how the upper body moves along with the lower body. So you're not going to be able to do a lot more.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, the Targetmaster was a miss for me.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a little bit of a miss. And I'm partial with the Targetmasters, right? So, yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, Targetmasters as well. Poseability was better for the MP-40. And then creativity and fun factor kind of went together for this one, I found, in terms of being creative with it. I mean, they're both trying to, I guess, appeal to the G1 fans.
Yeah.
I do feel one kind of went for more of a toy, and one went with more of following the G1 cartoon. But I think there were a little bit more creativity points when it came to the fans' toys and how it transformed. This is also the second version of the mold, so I just felt in general it was a little bit more creative when it came to its approach. However, the fun factor for me, the MP-40 kind of edged out the Hoodlum.
I would say fun factor wise, definitely the MP-40 wins. During the transformation, it was just way more fun because like pegging all that stuff in, it starts getting frustrating. So I definitely have more fun with this. What do you think, Eric?
I have to agree. I mean, just looking from the side from here, the MP-40 he almost looks like he's a comic book, which isn't bad. I mean, I think that lends to the fun factor, because now that you've posed him in such a way, it's almost like he's got spidery legs, right? So he's a little bit more fun in that sense, as opposed to being a very, proper cartoon accurate type toy, right? I mean, for having fun with playing with and stuff like that, I probably pick the MP-40 as well.
Yeah, agreed. One thing I did forget to mention that was kind of a little bit of a cool fun factor thing and creative thing on the Hoodlum is that you could pop open in the out mode, the vehicle mode, you could pop open the cockpit, and there was the two little seats.
Oh, right.
That's something that you will not get with the MP-40, so they spent a little bit more time making that happen. I don't know if you can actually fit Spike in there. I kind of now wish I brought like a little Spike to see if he fits in that little seat thing. But yeah, no, that's a little bit of a miss on my part. I forgot to bring that.
I want to mention now, with regards to creativity, I'm kind of half and half on these guys. This one has its points. This one has its points. One, like you said, that the seats thing, that's a nice creative touch on this one. This one,
that you can actually open up the glass and
exactly. That was cool, and I like the fact that I appreciate the fact that they decided to go for a different approach with regards to transformation. I thought that was creative. This, on the other hand, there are some creative things about it. I think the fact that they decided to give it a whole a different look was pretty creative compared to what we have here. And also, I actually like the fact that they added these right here. And where
the little jetpack things.
The jetpack things, it flips out when you're trying to put the wheels in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a cool touch that this one doesn't have. So I'm gonna have to go half and half on the creativity for these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all in all, they're both really lazy when it comes to the Targetmaster.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's ever looked good.
No.
Even the original toy, it was just this like big piece of crap on the front
that's completely impractical.
Yeah, impractical, as Pack for Life pointed out, completely dangerous for the person driving because you can't see past it. It's a huge blind spot. Yeah. So not practical for driving, not practical as a weapon. It's just all around aesthetically bad. So yeah, don't put the Targetmaster on. Just don't bother. Yeah. Yeah, as a companion, he looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have it there.
Yeah.
So final score.
Final score.
I kind of feel like overall that was almost. Would you say it's almost a tie?
It's almost a tie. Well, okay. Let me just gather my points, and that was we both agreed that design was this way, poseability was this one, fun factor was this one, and then creativity I'm half and half. So for me, MP-40 wins.
MP-40 wins. Okay.
Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was half and half.
I feel it's still half and half.
Okay. Then
sorry,
but
it's all good.
But because of Alex's little swing vote, I'd say that overall, I don't think that MP-40 was a bad mold at all. I think it's held its ground.
Yeah.
Considering it came out so long ago as well, not too bad of a toy compared to the Hoodlum. I actually thought that the Hoodlum would win by quite a bit when I was first looking at all the photos and the promos.
Especially when they've had a long time.
Yeah.
Very long time when they first showed it. And they've come out with this. I mean, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I think it still looks really nice and hits a lot of spots.
They're both of them are decent products. They're both good products.
But I think if we're looking at our criteria, we gotta stick with what our criteria says.
Exactly.
And I think Alex's vote on kind of his split decision on the creativity kind of puts the MP-40 at a little bit more of an advantage.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Absolutely.
Now, having said that, value-wise though, I mean, just so you guys know, the Hoodlum is much less.
120?
Yeah, compared to
120 Canadian for all you Americans who might get
120 Canadian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, whereas I think Hot Rod was like 150.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Something.
Yeah, 150 or 140. I can't remember. But for Canadians, that is a big deal. For the USD, not as much of a difference, but it's still the MP-40 is more expensive, and it doesn't offer as much. And if I did have to choose the version of this mold, I kind of did like all the accessories that came with the first version, the MP-28, more than the MP-40. It came with the fishing rod,
and the buzzsaw.
Came with the pizza cutter. Fans Toys does have all that, except for it doesn't have the fishing rod. It has the pizza cutter. And then might want to note that the Fans Toys does have that extra faceplate that gives it the old...
Yes.
Yeah, the Rodimus look, but really, he's not tall enough to be Rodimus, so you kind of almost have to have another figure for Rodimus along with the trailer.
Yeah.
So, if it helps you guys, make your purchasing decisions, it was a very close one. So, yeah, MP-40 ekes it out.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah. MP-40.
All right. Wow, we have a winner.
Yeah, we do.
Cool. Well, that was our Battle of the Bots. And
That's
that
right.
one hell of a battle it was.
Yes, it was.
was a close one.
Yeah. Lots of things to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a hot rod fan, Rodimus fan, you know, honestly, no better time to collect than now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely, I would recommend checking out both figures.
Yep. And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
That's right. I don't know what we're going to be looking at next episode, but there's a lot coming out. As you know, it's Chinese New Year, so happy New Year to you guys. And most of the people are kind of gone for the holiday. So after the holiday, we're going to see a lot of product again. So we should have some pretty good stuff for the next episode.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when everything's all coming at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure what it's going to be, but there's going to be a lot of great content coming to you guys. So stay tuned for that.
That's right.
Yeah. And why don't you guys let us know, who do you prefer as your preferred hot rod? I mean, is it the Hoodlum? Is it the MP-40? Or is it any of these other guys that we have right here? Let us know in the comment section below, and why.
That's right.
My name is Alex.
I'm Boris.
I'm Eric.
And why did we say our names again?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just following you.
Okay. So as always, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages 3 and Up, and also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Ages 3 and Up, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.